I'm Luke Searveld. Welcome to another episode of Meet the Gaffer. I've been looking forward to talking about this light for quite some time. I've only had it in my hands for a little over a week. I've taken it out on some jobs. They weren't the most taxing jobs, so I wasn't really able to push the light. I would run it at 7%, 13%, and sometimes a little bit more than that, but yeah, just, not that visually interesting. And so later on, I do put it up against an 800, a J8, a Joker 800 that has the zoomer front on it. Went to sit down, talk about the light, and the neighbors got some work going on, so it's kind of loud. And I thought oh, okay, well, what if I shoot this later and we use the light to recreate skylight? So let me just show you my setup here. I have windows in front of me, and so I just have, nice open skylight that brings in this indirect source, and then I block off direct light throughout the day so that that's not too hard, on one side. Now I've got the window, I've got this up a little bit just to let some in, else this gets a little dark back here. But for the most part, the light comes from the front, just soft, nothing super interesting. At night, when there's no light coming from the window, then I use this with an Elgato key light as a bounce, and then I have another Elgato key light direct. And so then I just play those. And often, for whatever reason, at night, I often make these a little warmer, just go more tungsten feel. So anyway, that's that. Now, at the moment, the sun is on its way behind some clouds. About the end of the day here, it's only 3:45, but here we are in December, and sun goes down sooner. Well, it's lower in our sky. Anyway, so just ambient light here. I've got just under a 2. I'd probably crack this to, yeah, I'm a little under. So yeah, this is not quite a 2-8 split. So it's just under that. And then with the teleprompter, yeah, so we're getting down there. Let's see, yeah, these are all getting a little dark. You can see outside here that I'm getting ready for putting the Aputure 600D Pro into 2 ultra bounces, and that will be acting as our high skylight indirect coming in. Yeah, it's getting cooler. So as the sun went away, I had like 5600, just when the sun was out, and then now I'm at 6700, so it's just dropping fast. And ambience is also dropping, so now I'm at a 2, so let's go out, open up our bounce here, and see what we can do to get some of this ambience back. We'll get Sidus Link to help us out here. Okay, so starting off, that's at 0, and then we'll just slowly bring it up. So that's at 30%. Now, maybe we close down our stop a little bit. 2/8 split 4. So let's give ourselves a little more. Guess we can go higher with those bounces. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, so that's actually kind of sourcey, so that could be softer. So what we could do is, put some kind of a softener in front of these windows, and then actually give some more output there, because that's only at 60%. If we go full bore, yeah, then that feels a little toasty, and even though it's bouncing into 2 ultra bounces, it's still quite sourcey, so not as nice and soft as an open sky. So it'd be, and then we've got some extra reflections there on these little guys, as though it was coming in harder. So I'm not quite sure what's happening there. Yeah, kind of nice to know that you've got plenty of stop to work with if you wanted to recreate that feel just by softening this again. And we could go ahead and do that. So I've got a half grid readily available, so we'll see if this works. All right, I don't know. Let's see. We'll go to full bore on this. And yeah, that's a different look. We could open this up, see what we get. It's almost too soft, so we don't have the kind of feel of the window giving us like a soft cut here, because now this softener is too close to the window, which is kind of interesting. It's nice and soft and stuff. Now if we open this up, does that bring in too much? Yeah, so now this is still too hot, but now we're getting that cut because we're getting it from the door, which is interesting. The diffusion, in a sense, needed to be further away, closer to the bounce, so that you would still get the cut of the window. Again, recreating light that you see in nature is kind of a fun exercise, because then the more you can get close to it, the more naturalistic your lighting can be. So we're at a T 2.2 split 2.8. We're at 400 ISO, daylight balanced. The sun is basically down, but we still have some skylight, and the 600D is at 100%, going into 2 ultra bounces, and then coming back through that half grid. So this is the look, and you could bring in a solid or something like that to create that break in the back, or bring this up, soften this. There's things you could do to get that look back, but it's nice to know that, hey, you can create that daylight look in the middle of the evening. Yeah, as we do. So just to give you an idea of what I've got going, this is what I'm looking at. So 810 Mini Pro with ISO, so I can record all the streams. And then I'm looking at a teleprompter, and that teleprompter, this is a 810 Mini Pro that without the ISO, and I can switch to text if I have questions, or for an interview, that kind of thing, and then just a little Lilliput monitor, and then that's the 810 Mini for the audio. Here's a second camera, getting that angle, so that's that. And then outside, we've got another camera that's hanging out over there, and that's capturing this over here. So here's our unit, 600D Pro, because it has Wi-Fi in it. And it also takes 2 batteries of either 14s, 26s, 28s. You can run all those, and it will charge while it's going. You got the excellent clamp, and new connectors that have sort of a, they pull up to get out, and then you get an extra knob in case you want to put it on a baby stand. And it's got one big old fan, so that's whirling away there. But if we're quiet a minute, pretty good. And then here's the case, so really nicely tightly packed in here. And then if we close that, you see there's wheels on the bottom, and we'll zipper this up and then pick this up, and sure enough, look at that, there is a handle inside. So yes, you get this with your unit, which is, you know, not a little thing. Okay, so that's 2 split to 8, closer to a 2. Prompter glass, you probably want to be closer to a 2. And then just color-wise, 5600. Let's get down to brass tacks. Now, I haven't been able to, you know, run this unit in all weather or, you know, hard for day after day, but it's definitely a crossover unit, and in 2 ways, I think. One is you're going to compare it to small HMIs, and it does well. So I compared it to a Joker, and you can check that out. Well, this is what we've been waiting for. We want to compare the 600D with a Joker 800. And yeah, they're not exactly the same type of unit. The 800 is going to be with the zoomer front, and that's the way I use it. I don't use it with any other kind of front, so that's what we're going to compare. They're, you know, a little different reflector types, but hey, basically we're just trying to see if they're close. You know, how do they compare? Can we use both units at the same time? Can we, you know, swap one out for the other? That's what we're trying to find out. Okay, so we've got C-stands here at 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet. This time around, I'm going to meter it with the dome inside, so not out. And just, you get a little higher reading, you know, it's more concentrated, better for manufacturers. So if we get it here at 10 feet, I'm going to say 410 foot candles, all right? Just so we get a quick color reading, 6,200 Kelvin. Okay, so here we are at 20 feet. So again, 10 feet on, and we're at about 100 foot candles. So 400-ish, 100, and then at 30, 42. Okay, so 400-ish, 100, 42. All right, so let's swap that out for our other unit, and we're at flood mode. We'll go up to 100, and let's check this out. First off, color, 5,800, okay? And then 600. Now remember, you're not going to use these units like this, just raw. I mean, you know, that kind of shadow, it doesn't look so bad, you know, with the C-stand there. Same with the Joker 800. But more than likely, you're going to use this as a bounce. You're going to use it into a, you know, ellipsoidal front or something. You're going to use it through softener. And you may use it smashing through a window, sure. But more than likely, you're going to modify in some way. So it's just nice to know that you have output. So yeah, 600. Let's make sure that that is true. $556. Yeah. Whoop. So a little more there for a minute. 640 there. Okay, 640. All right. Coming down here to 20. It's pretty even too. It's staying at 170, this whole area. Okay, so 170. And then, okay, so 80, 170, and then we were at 640. Wow. Okay, so we know we have output. Basic comparison, because now, is this going to get close to a 1200? I don't know. You know, we could throw that up too, but we don't quite have time for that. But I think this gives you a good idea that compared to the Joker in this configuration, that's a good match. Now, they are different units, And I'm going to keep using that 800 Joker as a Jolico, 100%. This unit now has an opportunity to move into that space. And that's exciting for a lot of people who haven't been able to get into that level of HMI. This is a good opportunity. And now you have full control, a DMX, you've got Wi-Fi embedded here. I haven't tried that yet, but certainly the app is killer, and it works with all the other Aputure lights. And the fact that you can run it on 26 volt batteries, on 48, on 14, you're not going to get full output, but you can run them, and your batteries can be charging while you're connected to mains power. So wow, that's something I haven't seen, So that's awesome. And secondly, I think this is a crossover unit in that now Aputure needs to be in the conversation. I mean, for anyone who is buying lights with this kind of output, you need to consider Aputure. You do, because what more do you want in a light? You've got Wi-Fi, you've got all these other capabilities, and you get it at a very fair price. So maybe you want a metal housing. It's early days. There may be some things that need to be worked out. Fine, totally doable. I would like to have a longer head lead, in case sound is an issue. But I think that's very doable. Sure, in a perfect world, we'd like to have this be RGB. We'd like it to have even more output. We'd like to have this. We'd like to have that. But if you just sit there and compare it to what's out there, yeah, there are things to learn from this company because they're doing a lot of things right. And the Bowens mount gives you all kinds of fronts. You can also get adapters that take you from Bowens to Chimera or to DOP Choice or whatever. There's just a lot going on here that works. So having that control, that dimmability, having effects on top, great. And, just having that output with so little draw, yeah, this is it's a breakout instrument. Hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time. So here we're doing some B-roll on a steady, just a short arc. The back windows have trace on them. M18 is coming through that to glow that. And then you can just barely see it on the red wall. On the far right of the red wall, there's a Joker 800 coming through with a Jolico pattern on that. And then we have the Select 31 is on that cross beam there. And that is sort of adding some backlight there. And then we needed a little bit of fill, so we put the 600D in as well. So all the units that had Wi-Fi were on blackout and easy to manipulate.